OMG. Hey, I'm in a dark room. I didn't know that. I didn't really look at my lighting until just now. Let me turn a light on. Hold on. All right. The sun was setting, so I didn't even realize it got dark. All right. How we doing, everybody? What a good turnout. Hello, hello. All right. So let me share my screen. Today's call is a good one, I think. So yeah, I think it could apply to a lot of you guys. And it's an interesting topic, something I found so interesting while I was doing, some research on this topic. So let me get here. Okay. Um, by a show of hands, actually, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen because I'm curious. Who, or in the chat or whatever, because I'm only looking at Sheena and Vicky. Hey, who thinks that yes, trauma does prevent fat loss? I'm curious. And if there's anybody who thinks the answer is no, raise your hand now. Nobody? Okay, cool. If you raised your hand yes, I'm curious why. I'm literally just curious, what's your thought process? Why do you think trauma could prevent fat loss? Just yell it out loud.
Stress.
Okay, so how would stress affect fat loss?
Okay, what'd you say? Sorry, can you repeat that?
That's okay. No, you're right, Lauren. So good job. And I'm curious what, if you were to just kind of use your context clues, why do you think stress could affect fat loss?
Um, I just feel like sometimes when I'm stressed, like I either don't want to eat or like I'll overeat. I just feel like you munch and like you're not like bingy or whatever.
Totally. Perfect. Thank you. Perfect answer. Yeah, that's kind of what I was looking for. I mean, probably whatever you guys would have come up with would have been in some way accurate. But I think right there, we just proved that the mind affects the body, right? They're completely tied in. So if you're feeling stressed, Lauren just implied that she takes different actions if she's stressed out, right? So some people are stressed and now their body is suddenly eating more. We're acting out those stressors, or we're stressed and we're suddenly eating less, so our body is acting out those stressors. So I just really want to make that connection, because I know it can sometimes feel skeptical about how could your mind or emotions have anything to do with your body, right? Aren't they different? Isn't the mind, body, the soul, the spirit, aren't they different? Aren't we different and then the tree and then nature outside? Isn't our digestive system totally different than our nervous system? So maybe hopefully just starting to put the pieces together that it's all connected. I think it's Da Vinci that has like the man and it's like the whole body is connected. So just really keeping that as the foundation of, I would say, your health journey for the rest of your life. Always remembering that everything is connected, all of our systems within your body, within your energy body, within each other and the earth. Okay. Yes, Miss Shannon, staying in fight or flight, which is what stress physically does to the body, right? So then that's affecting the nervous system, and the nervous system affects other things, which is what we'll get into. All right, so let me share my screen. Thank you for participating in that, Lauren. You're awesome. And Shannon. Okay, so we kind of gave it away. The answer is yes, but let's get into it. Okay. So I want to be straight up here. When I first started in the fitness industry, I thought emotions were completely separate from the physical body, right? I was all about calories in versus calories out, and that's that, period. And I'm going to be honest, most people are like that in the fitness industry. So I thought anything like that, anything like spiritual woo tied in with physical hard science and biology was bullshit. And people were probably just coming up with excuses or whatever. And like I said, most personal trainers, nutritionists, or fitness professionals deal with one system in the body, the musculoskeletal system. Technically, those are two systems. Technically, there's the muscular system and the skeletal system. But for a lot of people in these fields, they tie them into one because they do. If you look at them individually, that's one thing. And if you look at them together, that's one thing. However, there are 11 systems in the body. And I'm curious if anybody just wants to shout out if they have any idea what could those 11 other systems be? If you have any idea, I'm just curious to see maybe where your guys's knowledge on these topics could be, or not at all. Maybe just yell out one or two if you have an idea.
The nervous system.
Yes. Yep. Good job, Miss Stephanie. The nervous system.
I think the
This-
respiratory system.
Was that Lauren, the respiratory system?
Yeah, sorry,
Yep.
I'm at the gym.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's one for sure. Anybody else? Let's do one more.
Sympathetic nervous system.
So that's part of your nervous system. Good educated guess there, but that would just, so then there is the nervous system and then there's two parts of it, the sympathetic and parasympathetic. So that would just still be under one system. Let's get one more guess.
Is there the digestive system or the reproductive system?
Yeah, yeah, great job. That's two. You guys are so smart. Respiratory, nervous, endocrine. Endocrine is your hormones, by the way. So that's something that we are, maybe passively talking about a lot. Digestive system, we talk about a lot. Reproductive system, that kind of goes hand in hand with hormones a lot of the times too. When we talk about hormones, usually the first things that come to mind are the reproductive hormones, your sex hormones, estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, stuff like that. The urinary system, cardiovascular. I don't know what this one is, honestly. I don't know, but when I was doing research, integumentary, maybe one of my nurses know. That's not my specialty there. The lymphatic system, which is like drainage and detoxing, and then muscular and skeletal. Okay, so just a good reminder that again, everything is playing a role within each other, and every single one of those systems that are listed above they affect metabolism. And we're definitely going to do another call on metabolism soon. Again, something I talk about a lot, but based off of my poll today, I realize a lot of people still need some education around that. And I want to make sure that anybody who is coaching with us and frequency, that you are really, very well aware and understand everything that we're going over, and you're not leaving more confused and just hearing big words and not knowing what they are. So the metabolism is the body's ability to gain or lose body fat. The body is not individualized, compartmentalized, or separate in any way, period. This includes mind, emotion, soul, and body. If you think about all four of those things, they all can totally be different. We can feel the energetic difference when we talk about the mind and the emotions, right? When we can see how they act different. Maybe your heart wants to be with this toxic person and you're so sad, but then your mind is like, they're toxic and I shouldn't hang out with them. Okay, and we understand, hopefully you had some kind of soulful or spiritual experience. If not, maybe that time in your life will come at some point, but I definitely would say that the soul is completely a separate thing. And then of course the body. However, they all affect one another, just like all the other systems. Oh, this was supposed to be bullets. Okay, metabolism and trauma. At the core level, this might sound woo-woo, but at the core level, metabolism starts with your mind. I would say that everything starts with your mind. You can really change a lot of things with your perception of the world, kind of that like top-down approach. Going off of that, why I would say that is how you handle stress or work through your emotions affects your metabolism. And that kind of ties back to what Lauren mentioned in the beginning, that your mind can then affect how, your habits, your actions, your lifestyle, which then affects your metabolism overall, your ability to gain or lose body fat. People who have trauma earlier in their lives tend to live in extremes, and this is a fact. Everything I did do my little research behind. If you'd like any resources or cite my sources, let me know, because it was actually really fun and very interesting. But I think that actually makes sense when you think about it too. So people in their life who have early trauma are the people who live in extremes, right? Your lifestyle is, maybe 1 week you are working out 5 to 7 days in a row, you're doing keto, you're cutting everything out. And then maybe the next week you are laying on the couch, life sucks, you're drinking beer or whatever. And we repeat that cycle. These might be the same people who gain a lot of weight, lose a lot of weight, gain a lot of weight, lose a lot of weight. Maybe these habits, these patterns, and this lifestyle overall could be coming from the original thought patterns that's causing the body to act out in a certain way. And sometimes these things aren't conscious. Sometimes it happened when you were a lot younger or whatever, just something all that happened in your life that you didn't fully process at the moment and now is, is showing up in other areas of life. Another thing is getting in and out of unhealthy relationships, and just being extremely reactive to life events, to conversations, conflict. Maybe you quit your job randomly or you freak out in conversations, things like that. This could all be a pretty good sign that one, that there was trauma in the past, and two, an example that you are living your life in extremes, which can totally affect how your body looks and how it works, how you feel, as well as how it looks. So if we have not evolved emotionally and spiritually, you cannot master your environment and your lifestyle, right? Therefore, your metabolism. This is why I really, 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 really stress, that we have yoga biweekly and that you have stress management techniques in your daily practice. And that, I like to tie in kind of like the spiritual aspect of things, making sure we're emotionally aware, because there's a lot of correlation. Maybe you have a toxic relationship going on in your life and then you're binging at night. I guarantee if you have awareness that you can see the correlation and then start to break these patterns and interrupt them. Also, this was an interesting fact that I learned: heavy trauma is more likely to have autoimmune diseases. Autoimmune just issues in general can 100% play a role in affecting your hormones, therefore affecting your ability or inability to lose or gain body fat. A good example of this, where there are many studies shown that sexually assaulted children in the past end up in the future having more autoimmune issues or diseases. And then a little bit more kind of sciencey stuff, just touching on hormones. So try to bear with me here. This could be a really good learning moment. But understandably that we're not here to all become scientists, but it's always a good idea to know what's going on in your body and what each hormone, maybe the names are and what they do. So hopefully this is as interesting to you as it is to me. High stress in the body, as we know, probably leads to high cortisol. Cortisol is your stress hormone. When that rises, so does the hunger hormone in your brain that tells you, I'm hungry, I should eat right now. When cortisol rises, so does ghrelin, which is that hormone that tells your brain, I'm hungry, which signals to your brain that you need to eat. As the stress hormones continue to be high, our cells also become sensitive to leptin. Leptin is the hormone that signals to your brain that we have eaten enough. That's that signal in your brain that's, I'm full, I should put this down, I do not need another slice, I'm actually very satisfied. And if I do have another one, then I'm getting to the point of being uncomfortable. So overeating is a common indicator that your cells have become leptin resistant, that your body is not getting those cues, right? As well as driving cravings, these processes also affect energy levels, which lead us to reach for energy dense foods. Energy dense foods are high calorie foods, okay? Those are the same thing. High sugar, high calorie, in order to get through the day. So again, our brain is primal. Our brain is a lot smarter when it comes to food and resources, because it's the same kind of patterns that have been in our brain since we were cavemen or apes or whatever you believe in. So when it comes to food, we cannot outsmart our brain. And that's why you're naturally going to crave higher calorie things, higher sugar things, because your brain is you're craving that because of how off your hormones may be from prolonged stress or a traumatic event or just trauma over time. Trauma downregulates the endocrine system. Endocrine system, like we talked about, are your hormones, but two of them in particular, adrenals, which is, think about like adrenaline, it's the stressed out kind of endocrine system or hormone in your body, and then your thyroid. So thyroid has a direct correlation with your metabolism. Again, the ability to gain or lose weight. A study that I found very interesting is that they conducted on rats when the rats' tails were shocked. So basically when they caused stress on the body for the rats, the T3 thyroid levels dropped. That same thing happens in humans within 20 minutes of any kind of exercise, any kind of, I would say like moderately intense exercise. Within 20 minutes, that those T3 thyroid levels are also going to drop 20 to 30%, which in that moment, at that time, is totally fine. However, if you're working out way too much for way too long, way too often, not having rest days, maybe getting into that zone multiple times per day, then that's when it can stay like this. And now our thyroid is underworking, right? Hypothyroidism. Insulin resistance is more common with people with a traumatic background. Found that very interesting. And the combination of insulin resistance and high cortisol creates the perfect environment for weight gain. I'm going to go over insulin resistance a little bit, but that paired with high stress. Okay. So, in conclusion, stress is not bad. Oop, this was say insulin. Cortisol and insulin actually are not bad at all for the body. They play a great role. We want a good amount of cortisol, we want a good amount of insulin, but we do want them to be within healthy ranges. It's only bad when these things go on for too long. Okay. And I think that's like the biggest indicator to remember is that it's not stress that's bad, but it's chronic stress, which I know we've talked about forms of chronic stress before, which I have linked or listed underneath this. Some examples could be 5 to 6 workouts per week, too much cardio, hella pre-workout, hella caffeine, lots of stimulants in general. When, maybe you take Adderall and pre-workout and kombucha and an espresso in the morning and whatever. You're working hella jobs, or you are, to have a really stressful job, or maybe you never clock out. You're in bad, toxic, or codependent relationships that's causing so much stress on your life. Lack of quality sleep, maybe you're raising a lot of kids, excess screen time, no time in nature, solving world hunger. Okay, I have a lot of you guys who I feel like are very warriors. Okay, and I love that. I'm a hustler, I'm a grinder, I'm a warrior. Let's do the damn thing, right? Girl power. But also make sure that you're giving yourself time to rest and not just constantly becoming addicted to cortisol. Incorporate stress management techniques into your daily life, especially at times when your life is not stressful. That's when they are the best. That's when it's the most beneficial, because if you're trying to practice stress management techniques while you're stressed out and your body's not really used to that, good luck. It's a lot easier to strengthen those practices and to actually be able to turn on, the parasympathetic nervous system when you're not stressed out. It's like getting stronger in the gym, right? It's not go compete in a powerlifting competition and then you'll be strong. It's, show up to practice over and over and over again. Okay. So a couple of things to always remind you of, because I still get questions on like what are some stress management techniques? How do I, reset after a workout or calm my nervous system down? The first thing always is going to be deep belly breathing. Right now, you all have access to do that and to turn on your parasympathetic nervous system and to calm down immediately. It's an effective, immediate tool that works every damn time. Deep belly breathing, meditation, journaling, therapy, grounding barefoot in the earth somewhere, mindfulness practices. That could be mindful eating. That could be a mindful walk. That could just be a mindful conversation. Yoga, which we have in like 30 minutes. Limiting screen time, prioritizing meaningful relationships, positive self-talk, and celebrating wins. That's a very important. You guys all have so many wins, but a lot of times, and by you guys, I also mean myself, we just focus on the things that we can improve on, or the things that we don't have, or the parts that were an L and not a W. Okay, but make sure you celebrate the wins. And that is my slideshow. Where'd you go? Okay, hey. All right. I realized in the thing too that I said I was gonna talk about insulin, but it actually wasn't in there. Insulin, we don't need to get too far into it. It's honestly a little bit past my credentials to be able to teach and talk about it, but I'm just going to tell you, you want your insulin within a healthy range. You don't want it too low. You don't want it too high, but this is where diabetes comes into play. And diabetes is way more common than I think maybe a lot of people think that it is. At least my previous self did not realize it's something you don't want. If you're overweight for too long, maybe underweight for too long, you can totally become pre-diabetic. And I get a lot of clients that come to me like that, and that's no place you want to be in. So always remember that these long-term diseases, heart disease, diabetes, everything in the body, right? That's even a heart attack. These things don't happen suddenly. It's years and years of these things being built up. Okay. So it's always best to be preventative. That's my story. Any questions, follow up, think something you like, something that hit, something you want to add? Anything?
Oh, sorry.
You can go. I'll go after.
Well, I really appreciated the whole PowerPoint, but I really liked at the end how you emphasized kind of like this contrast between I like to call it contrast rather than balance, just because balance is sometimes overused word. So like in terms of contrast, like you have this whole life and all these obligations and responsibilities and so on, but then you also have this other part of your life where you take time for yourself so that you can actually go up and show up for those things and yourself. And so I think like that's just always important to reinforce. And then celebrating the wins is a super huge thing for me, because it's just like it's a reminder to have compassion and grace for yourself, and to be like, I did that. Like I showed up for myself and I did that. Because like you said, it's so easy to kind of like run through life and be always moving towards the next big thing and always trying to improve without actually realizing that you've checked so many things off your list. You just don't realize it because you're constantly going. Yeah.
Dude, totally. Thank you for pointing that out. And, that reminder. Yeah, it's like, right. The whole reason that we do those things to get this promotion in the job, or to be good at work, or to hit this finance goal, or to hit this fitness goal, is to actually enjoy it. But then we get there and we're just focused on the next thing. So yeah, definitely such a great reminder. And also a good reminder for myself that I just want to share, that I think maybe could be, because it was just such an eye-opening moment for me. As I'm sure a lot of you guys know, that I have a coach for myself, of course. Best coaches have coaches. And yesterday I had my check-in day with all of you guys. And when I do check-ins, it is 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. I am working all day. It is 8 p.m. last night. I am finally done. I have not stepped foot out of the house. I have not seen the sun. My steps were literally at 100 steps. And I was like, fuck it, I am going to bed, right? I just worked 12 hours. How crazy. But that whole time, I'm talking to you guys about how no job is that important. Take a break from your screen, go for a walk, right? Because now, what kind of fucking coach am I? I'm not going to show up and be the best employer or employee or student or anything if I'm not taking care of myself first. So that's just always a reminder that I like to remind you guys too, of even if you, like, I guarantee my check-ins yesterday could have been so much better. I could have been such a better coach overall if I'd also taken care of myself, right? You can never give from an empty cup. So that just reminded me, and I felt like maybe that was good to share. Miss Carly, I know you had something to say.
Yes, I did have something to say. So I was just thinking about how, when you said, what did you say? You were saying how even when you're going through like the process itself of implementing these things, like just to be like, sorry, I just got distracted for a second. Implementing these things when you're like not busy, so that when you are like in the midst of things, like it's easier for you to implement them. And I was thinking about how like when my life is crazy, it's like fight or flight, and it's like wanting to get things done. But if you're not implementing them when your life is going normally, then how are you going to do it when it's crazy? And I just resonated with that. So I wanted to mention that. But I also had a question. I think I might have talked to you about this. I can't remember. What are your thoughts on Ozempic? And not that I have any interest in doing it, but I just want to be able to like contribute to conversations.
Sure. I think I'm gonna make a whole reel about this because it's, just trendy to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Great question. For who it was designed for, I don't think it's awful. And I know plenty of people in their like 60s and 70s who've literally never been able to lose weight. And maybe, I don't know, maybe they just feel like they're too far gone or something. It's a lot of money, first of all. But also there's a lot. So for the people who it's not made for, like I think it's for people with diabetes and then other people taking it, there's a lot of side effects with your gut health, like a lot of intestinal pain and bloating and extreme, like really very poor digestion, which I just never would recommend for fucking with such an important system in your body, like digestion and bloating and your essential organs right there. But as well as when you get off of it, you gain the weight back, like period. So what Ozempic is doing is it's suppressing your appetite. Yeah. And just like Sheena said, overall muscle loss. So when you suppress your appetite, if you stop feeding yourself the correct amount, You're also going to lose your muscle mass with that, first of all. So that's not good. In order to maintain muscle, we need to feed muscle. You're also down regulating your metabolism so that, again, when you get off, now you are so leptin sensitive or ghrelin sensitive or insulin sensitive or whatever, all of these things are now completely off because it's just your mind trying to, again, outsmart all these wise systems in your body. It's not going to work. So not having a hunger cue is not a flex. You're just fucking up everything else in your body. And yeah, the side effects of not eating enough still are prevalent on people who take Ozempic, so even though these people don't have an appetite or don't have a hunger cue, all of these side effects that we're always talking about, the downfalls of dieting for too long, not eating enough, maybe hair loss, nail thinning, poor digestion, whatever, feel fatigued, being a fucking bitch, all of these things still apply. So that's my take on it. But
Cool. I just want to be able to contribute
yeah,
to conversations. I don't know much about it, but
yeah, it basically just makes people think that they're not hungry, which is just really sad. We don't need to be ignoring any cues of our body. That's like being like, oh, I just never have to pee. I'm just gonna ignore my pee cues. I just really have to sneeze. I'm not gonna sneeze. Like, it's just so stupid. So yeah. All right. Well, this was great. And it's so funny too, is the last time we did a stress call, we had yoga right afterwards. And that is so weird because I did not plan that, but we have yoga right afterwards, which is literally perfect. And this is why I offer it with my coaching program, is because it plays a direct role in your body composition, is stress management. So here is your opportunity for stress management if you haven't done it yet today. If not, I'll see you next time, or I'll see you at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So 30 minutes. I'll send the link. Let's take a little pic. Hold on. Everyone turn the cameras on real quick, please. Sheena, yeah, yoga has changed my life too. Period. Thanks, guys. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Woo. All right, thanks, y'all. So cute. All right, bye. See ya in 30 minutes.